Hi everyone. Day 3, another long day. Just got back. It is about 11:45. Today was a very heavy day. A lot different than the last 2 days, which were meaningful and nice and important. This was heavy. A lot to talk about. This is almost like a drasha worth video, just a length video. So we started out in the morning. We had a chance to meet with Rav Doron Peretz, and I'll add a link, a message that he sent out. Rav Doron Peretz has a son that was injured during the war and then got married. At the same time, he has another son who is missing, and they still had the wedding, and he's trying to hold everything together while representing Am Yisrael, and it was powerful to hear from him, listening to him give us chizuk, even though perhaps he may need it more than all of us. From there, we went to pay a shiva call. There were 2 shiva homes to go to. We split into 2 groups. My group went to the Eliyahu family to be Menachem Avel for Yedidia Eliyahu, was 25 years old, left behind a wife and 2 children. The wife and kids were not available for us to be Menachem Avel, but we spent time with the parents and with the grandmother. Naba actually spent some time specifically talking to the grandmother. It was heartbreaking because the grandmother mentioned to her the fact that last year she had some severe medical issues and she went through the surgery, and Baruch Hashem, she's doing well. And she expressed to Nava, she said, I did all this, I was about to die, and Hashem got me to live to see this, to see my grandson be killed. What do I need this for? Why did I live? And what do you say to that? How do you even respond? It's heartbreaking. Really, really, truly. We spent some time, the other rabbi spent time with the parents, and they were so taken by the fact that rabbis representing a few thousand congregants, that families actually, a few thousand families were there to speak to them, to let them know that we care and that all of us care, all of our shul members and families are concerned, and our hearts are breaking for you. They were really appreciative. They emphasized the importance of staying together and of making aliyah. They said it's time. What is everybody waiting for? We love you in our Torah Tabrit, but it's nice to come and be here. So we spent some time there. The other group went to one other powerful message, which about Yedidia, I'm sorry, who was the type of kid, type of guy that would always bring Torah into the unit, into the group, into the tank. He was in a mixed unit, so not everyone was religious. In fact, they said that the commander was so ignorant, he didn't really know the word kosher. He would talk about kashrah. That's how we refer to kosher, kashrah, because he just didn't get it. And Yedidia would, every time they would go into Gaza, into battle, he would say the Tfilat Haderech for the group. And that was very important in addition to the other things that he did. And at the funeral, the commander said he wanted to say something, but he didn't know anything to really say. But he said, I want to say the Tfilas Haderech because that's what he taught me. Which again, really breaks your heart. Really, really moving. The interesting side note was that Meir Kahana's wife was actually at the Shiva house sitting with us. That was interesting. Just a total side point. The other group went to be Menachem Avel at the family of Yonatan Brand, Hashem Yom Damav. I didn't go, but I ended up going. Nav and I went later on in the evening at the end after the day was over, because I realized that my family is friends with the Brand family. His aunt and uncle are friends, and Nava and I went by later that tonight or at around like 9ish or so, and spent some time talking to the father and the mother, expressing our condolences. And I asked him, I said, "Did you have a message that you can give to Mikey Hilo? What can you tell them? What message can I bring back to them?" And he said to me, number one, be like my son. My son was the ultimate Gomel Chesed. He went out of his way for 10 years. He was driving people around. He was doing programs for disabled children. Anywhere he was driving around and helping, delivering food for the needy. Whatever he could do to make an impact, he did. Chesed is number one. Number two, he said, is tefillah, to continue to daven, to continue to pray. Don't give up. Stay connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then number three, he said, it's time. It's time to make Aliyah. Again, you hear a theme of these two families. He said, it's what do you need to be there for? It's already getting a little tenuous outside of Israel. It's time to be here. This is where you belong. This is your home. So we spent some time there. They were very appreciative of the visit and thankful that we can be there for their family as well. But after we did the Shiva visits in the morning, we went out to Tel Aviv, and in Tel Aviv we met with some media fellows, those who are working on helping to shape the narrative to be able to give over proper information about what's happening in Israel. They're working with journalists and making an impact on the media war as well, which was nice to see, nice to listen to them. One of the other interesting things, of course, a total Israel moment, when we were leaving the Shiva house in the morning. I'm sorry that I'm jumping back and forth because sometimes my memory just pops up. It's all stream of consciousness right now. There's a woman who at 16 years old moved from Tunisia, and she saw us and said, I guess she was connected to this. She walked out of the Shiva house and saw us, and she said, we thank you for coming. I hope you come for smachot. And then she said, do you want to come? I'll happy to buy you a coffee and uga at the makolet over here. He said, no, we're fine. But she was so sincere and said, oh, we appreciate you. We want you to be here. And Am Yisrael Chai, and we're all echad. And it was very one of those Israel moments where someone stops you in the street and tells you how much you mean to them. Another similar one was another fellow, again, also not religious. We walked by him when we got off in Tel Aviv, walked to the next location, which was the location to free the hostages now, or bring them home now, which was, again, another powerful experience, exhibit, or operation, which I'll talk more about. A guy passed by and he yelled out to us, thank you for being here, but it's time no longer to be visitors. You have to come back home. No more galut. It's time to be in Israel. That's the special little musser that you get sometimes, which it just hits you different, especially when you hear it from people now that are religious and secular. It's powerful. So as I was saying, we went after the media session. We went to this area, this hotel, or not, I don't know, this office building, which has been given over to volunteers who are working for this organization, bring the hostages home now. And they're working around the clock, doing PR, journalists, and doing whatever they can to get the message across to help free the hostages. And that's all that's their whole mission. There's a war, they understand, they said that doesn't matter. Right now, all we're concerned about, our job, is to put pressure on different governments and even on Israel to continue the pressure to free the hostages. That's all they do. And at this complex, again, volunteers who have real jobs just stopped everything and are giving their full time to doing this. And in addition to that, there are family members that are there and talking to us. They spoke to us, but they're there just helping out in any way they can to put pressure on governments to help. So we met with a few relatives of those whose loved ones were kidnapped or held in Gaza. We spoke to them and how appreciative they are for everything that we do to help in America get the word out and to protest against the taking of these captives, 240 plus, and they're just very thankful. Again, I have a bunch of videos I'm gonna send in addition just to see about other things about from what I'm telling you about, just to get a taste of what we heard. From there, we went to Machane Shura. Machane Shura was just another really heartbreaking experience or deep experience, powerful. It's a base, it's an army base, but the army base there is where the Rabbanut is located, and usually many of the jobs of the Rabbanut there are to kasher Pesach kitchens, to be a sofer, but Machane Shura is also the place where they do taharas, where they ID bodies and send them out there for burial. And the Rabbanim who were there after Simchas Torah, they were in this large complex which was designed to be used in case of emergency. There was a serious outbreak and many deaths, and they needed to work round the clock to help get the bodies identified and get them to a burial and in an honorable way. This was their worst nightmare because as much as they prepared for an emergency, this was double what they ever would have anticipated. Having to do 86 taharas or funerals a day trying to identify bodies in those first few weeks was hell on earth. And they did it. They went on 3 days without sleeping, just doing holy work, and it's just so special. The kavod hames, the respect that they have for each person, and the way that they had to identify the bodies, civilians and soldiers, just powerful. Getting a tour of the facilities, which we were not allowed to take pictures, to see all the components to what their job entails. It's really avodas hakodesh, just really holy work. And unfortunately, when we were there, they were another halal, another death, another body was being brought to the area. It was just again heartbreaking to have to be there when uh, another one of our beloved brothers was was killed. That was rough. That was just the whole experience was very impactful. In addition, we also had the chance to see the other parts of Machane Shura. So we got to see the world's largest Aron Kodesh, which is a housing place where they have hundreds of Sifrei Torah that are sent out to army bases all across the country, which is really special to see how important it is. In fact, it's so important that one of the Rabbanim, I forget his name, but I have it on the video. I think I do. He spoke about tzitzis. He's given over out. He said by the end of the week, next week, he'll have given out over 160,000 pairs of tzitzis. People are asking for tzitzis. They're desperate. Religious, not religious, they want tzitzis. They have given out like over 80,000 of this small sefer, which has Tehillim in it, it has Siddur, and it has the tefillah to say before you go into battle. And tefillah saderach, just amazing. And they even have these portable batei medrash, basically, where you bring into an army base. You bring a base medrash. You have some svarim that you can learn from, the chavrusa, things like that. Just really meaningful. They even said that they have mezuzahs all ready to go when they move into Gaza. They want to put up mezuzahs because if they're going to be there, they got to put up a mezuzah. Just things. They're even thinking about Hanukkah. They've already ordered thousands and thousands of menorahs. These are just the things they don't realize for the chayalim that are going to be in Gaza or who knows where. Just the thought process that goes into doing all this. The Daf Yomi books, it's amazing. It's unbelievable how all the logistics are arranged. It's something really, really special. We even had the opportunity to see 2 Sifrei Torah that were taken from, I believe it was I forget which kibbutz, maybe it's near Oz, where the Torah, the Eitz Chaim, was hit by, I guess, a shrapnel or whatnot, and it was damaged. And they fixed the Atzei Chaim on the Sifrei Torah, and they were about to bring them back to the kibbutz. And all of us on the group on the mission, we were dancing with around the Torahs. Se'ushar Mashechim Ki Mitzion Teite Soro. Just a beautiful moment. One that we finally got to dance on a day that was just so heavy with so many depressing and sad, tragic stories. And yeah, I think that was about it. Then we headed out back to dinner, and then again Nava and I went to the Shiva house again and to the Brand family, and headed back. So yeah, it was a lot to take in. There's probably a lot that I even missed in this already 16-minute recap. One positive note is that I mentioned yesterday that we went to visit my brother. My brother told me that he's in the same unit as Arki, and Arki is the world famous tour guide who encouraged everyone to dance and sing on at Friday night a few weeks ago. So when my brother Jason told me that Arki was in his unit, so Nava mentioned, oh, let him know that we listened to him, we took his advice, we danced, and it was a beautiful thing. So Arki has a special video for the Young Israel of East Brunswick, which I will also share with you if you're still listening after 17 minutes. But it was a special day. I was able to distribute some of our tzedakah money in a meaningful way. Sometimes in ways that what I like to say sometimes is that the sexy tzedakahs are not always the best ones to give to, because everyone wants to give to the sexy ones. It's sometimes the ones that people don't always want to give to are just as meaningful. But what I was able to do is I was able to give on behalf of the shul, which we should be able to get some pictures hopefully by the end of the week. On Friday, there's a community with 100 families, a small community in Karnei Shomron, and 75 of the families, the husbands are in the army. They have been deployed, so there are no men in the kibbutz, and or not the kibbutz, in the settlement, whatever, and the community, and they want to do something nice for the wives who are basically all alone, and they haven't been getting much attention. So they're all going to be bringing flowers to give for Shabbos to all of the moms, all the husbands, and to say thank you. They told me that this organization did it in a different community, and the wives were crying. They were just so full of joy to receive something that was so meaningful to them. So we're going to be able to do that. We're going to be partnering with a different organization to give candy bags for, again, with our names on them. We'll get pictures to 180 plus kids in a certain community. I don't remember all the details, and that's also going to be really special for us. We've given money to Bar Kai, which is an organization run by David Fine, Roger and Rebecca Fine's son, doing so much, helping out. There are all these Rabbanim, like the Rabbanim of Sderot and others, who now have all their congregants, all their people are displaced. Their Balabatim are displaced. They're displaced themselves, and they're trying to give chizuk, but their communities are in 3 different areas in let's say the Dead Sea and in Yerushalayim, and they have to get back and forth. They need a card. Who's going to help them get a card to go back and forth, to be there to help them mentally, psychologically, and just to give them chizuk. So these are the small things, besides for getting the essential equipment that is needed. So we're very thankful to Rabbi Fine for doing that as well. Those are the bunch of the tzedakahs that we've already been able to give to make an impact in Eretz Yisrael for our brothers and sisters. Again, meaningful. I was going to say beautiful, but beautiful is the wrong word. Powerful, heavy, meaningful day, and I'm glad that I got to share it with you. I'll have a bunch of pictures and a bunch of videos that will accompany all of this, and I hope that you find this meaningful. If you were able to listen to this for 20 minutes, that means you listened to this, which is even longer than I speak on a regular Shabbos, so more power to you. Anyway, have a good evening, have a good day, and I will be in touch tomorrow.